Om. Om. ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ समस्तजनकल्याणी निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ सर्ववेदान्त सिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। Hello everybody. That was a beautiful rendition of Hanuman Chalisa. I've never heard that, and it sort of had a very calming effect on me. Thank you for that. I have my bookmark on 491. Am I right? Or is it 492? 491. 491, yeah. So we are on the portion where the disciple has now realized after this full teaching, and he is telling us his experiences. Though bliss, we must remember, is not an experience. An experience is that which happens to the mind. So the mind experiences happiness. And so then anything that the mind experiences will have an opposite. So if it experiences joy, there'll be sorrow. If it experiences heat, there'll be cold. So mind, intellect, body are always in the pairs of opposites. But bliss, which is beyond both happiness and sorrow, is not an experience. But for lack of a better word, it is not a state, but you call it a state, Turiya state, fourth state. It's actually not a state, because the definition of a state is that which changes. So waking is a state because it changes into dream. Dream is a state because it changes into deep sleep. But Turiya is not a state, but like I said, for lack of better words, in that state, he is trying to express something which cannot be expressed, cannot be spoken about. So that's why when we have to say it, we say, okay, he's telling his experiences, but it is not an experience. It is not an experience because he has transcended the mind. You cannot realize the self without transcending the mind intellect. So he has transcended, okay? That has to be kept in mind. Now what he's saying is, अकर्ताहम भोक्ताहम अविकारोहम अक्रियः शुद्ध बोध स्वरूपोहम केवलोहम सदाशिवः. I'm not sure.
Jiaji, sorry.
You're muted. I can't hear you. It's 491 and my page number is 556. My book.
556.
My book.
Okay.
Yours could be. So the verse is 491.
491. Sorry, and thank you very much.
I am not the doer. I'm not the experiencer. I am without modification and without activity. I am the embodiment of pure knowledge. I am absolute and eternal, auspicious am I. So when he says he's not the doer, he's negating the organs of action, because he is without actions, you can't do anything. And I'm not the experiencer. So the mind is negated as well. So organs of action and organs of perception, both are negated. And avikaro, I'm modification less. It doesn't modify. There is no change. We know that substratum is always changeless. Aham akriyaha, without any activity. So no change and no activity happening in the supreme consciousness. And what I am is, so first line is negating. I'm not this, I'm not this, I'm not this. That is what we call in technical languages Vyatireka. And the next line is Anvaya. So Anvaya is assertion and Vyatireka is negation. Vyatireka in our sadhana, Vyatireka has to come first. Negation has to come first. And which is not this, not this, not this, not this. That is Vyatireka, that is negation. I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect. So that not has to come first, NOT. And then comes the assertion, okay, if you're not any one of these, then what are you? Are you nothing? No. What I am is Shuddha Bodha Swarupoham. I am that pure, eternal self. And Kevala, I'm all alone. I am alone because it is Advaita philosophy. Sadashiva, ever auspicious. There is nothing inauspicious in the pure consciousness because there is nothing else. Now, for us as seekers, this akarta and abhokta, so doership and enjoyership, first needs to be loosened, and that happens in karma yoga and bhakti yoga. In karma yoga, it is loosened because you are now an instrument of the Lord. This is deliberate. We have to do that deliberately. So in karma yoga, you start by saying that I'm an instrument, I'm a servant, I'm doing this for the Lord or for a higher altar. So you start by that. And in bhakti yoga, you're basically saying God is doing everything. What am I doing? So this way the doership is negated. It is falsified in jnana yoga. In jnana, in that knowledge of the jiva brahma aikya, the jiva and brahma being one, this doership is falsified. Ultimate is to falsify it, but to falsify it, we need to loosen it, because for births and births, we have thought ourselves to be the doer. We have thought ourselves to be the enjoyer. So it is so, we are so well rooted in those two things, doership and enjoyership, that it needs to be, suddenly you cannot go from 100% to 0%. You need to loosen it. And that's why karma yoga and bhakti yoga are essential. That is what happens in those two. And then the realization in the jnana, which is finally what is this jnana? Not knowledge of the objects, but knowledge of the self being the same self in all. It gets falsified. The doership gets falsified. So the practice is for us to do. We know that the substratum is changeless. It has to be changeless. Why? Because we are seeing the changes. Have we not seen our body change? Have we not known our mind change? Hasn't it changed? Intellect has changed. So if we were also changing with the body, mind, intellect, how could you see? It's like, the two trains, if they're moving at the same speed, you're going to feel that they are both stationary. But if one train is stopped and the other one is moving, then you see that motion. Or the example that is given, you're sitting in the train, and then you feel like the trees are moving back that you see on the road, but actually the trees are not moving. So unless there is a changeless substratum, we would not have experienced or known any of the changes. So that tells us that there is a changeless substratum. And now he has realized that he is that all our births, we think we are the changing. We are the body which is changing, the mind. We thought we were the BMI, which is changing, but actually what we are is that changeless substratum. Okay, so, and it's very, very auspicious. All this will come in chapter 5, Bhagavad Gita. All these, there Bhagwan will describe, Bhagwan gives the description of a karma sannyasi. Karma sannyasi, if you can understand correctly and do it, this is the result. And karma sannyas is only sannyas of doership and enjoyership, not of actual karma at all. That has to be understood. Drashtuhu shroturvaktuhu. No, drashtu, there is no meter. Drashtuhu shrotruhu vaktuhu kartu bhoktru vibhinna evaham nitya nirantara nishkriyanihi Sima Sanga Purna Bodhatma. Indeed, I am other than the seer, hearer, speaker, doer, and experiencer. I am eternal and unbroken, beyond activity, boundless, unattached, and infinite, the essence of knowledge. So when he says that he is other than the seer, what he has perfected is the Sat Asat Vivek has been perfected. Chit is Sat. I told you this last time also. Chidabhasa is Asat. The seer, the hearer, the doer, the experiencer is Chidabhasa, which is an illusion, which right now in our state of ignorance, we think that we are doing it. Chidabhasa is doing it. So we think we are doing it. But when this Viveka, this discrimination is perfected, that I am not the Chidabhasa, I am Chit, then I can say with conviction that I am not the doer, even though doing, I am not the doer. The other way of looking at this is through the gunas. We have studied chapter 14 also, some of us, or most of us. So if you can perfect the discrimination which the Sankhya philosophy gives. Sankhya philosophy gives the description between Purusha and Prakriti. So all these things are happening in the field of Prakriti. They are happening because of the gunas. They are happening because of the interaction of the gunas. One who is established in karma, this notion, this thought is easier to hold on to. Understand what the gunas are, understand how they play havoc sometimes in our life, and know that you are not them. You are something different. You are Purusha. Now, the Sankhyan philosophy, this part we take, they say that there are many Purushas in many bodies. Now, that part we don't take, okay? So what they call Purusha, it's our Jiva. That's what it is. So, but this discrimination that they have, what Bhagwan Shankaracharya did was, other schools of philosophy also he knew very, very well. So whatever suited out his line of thinking, he has accepted. What is the problem? There's no problem. Just because there's some other school, but if they are saying sun rises in the east, then yeah, we take that. Like, we are not going to say no, no, no. We say it's not like that. Just because, or suppose it's my enemy saying, but it's a fact is a fact. So with Sankhya philosophy, their Viveka that they do, their discrimination, they do is Purusha Prakriti Vivekam. Now this, I am not other than the seer. This is that same Vivek, that the seer is in Prakriti, it's Prakriti. I am the Purusha, that way. Or Vedanta says, the seer is Chidabhasa or Jiva, and I am Chit. And it is because of me that this Chidabhasa even is existing. It has no other real legs to stand on. And therefore it is false. It is illusory. It is mithya. Mithya is what that is, which is experienced at some point of time, but not at all other times. And when that Viveka is perfected, either you do Sat Vivek or you do Purush Prakriti Vivek, discrimination is very essential. Therefore, I told you in Vedanta, the greatest tapas is to think. Vedanta is not asking for any kind of physical tapas or hardship on the body. There's no need. You can do, but actual tapas comes when you have to modify your thinking. We've been thinking like this for a long, long time, many births. So seer, hearer, speaker, doer, and experiencer, all in the purview of Prakriti, all in the purview of ignorance, all in the purview of duality. And I am something other than that. I am eternal and unbroken. So through the changing states of waking, dream, and deep sleep states, I remain unchanged. Through the childhood, we saw in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, there's childhood and there is middle age and old age, but I am the same. That now he has known knowledge, his knowledge. So once he has knowledge, there's no question of having faith. His knowledge, there's no need to have faith. We have to have faith in that statement and try work towards it. We need faith, but a realized master does not need faith. Once it is your own knowledge, you don't need faith. You don't need the scriptures either to tell you. You know, you don't need anything else to tell you. Unbroken beyond activity doesn't mean that I'm not acting, but as Chit, I don't act. Who is acting is Chidabhasa, and I am only the witness of whatever is happening. Boundless, unattached, and asanga, unattached. When you think of the pure consciousness, one without a second, who will pure consciousness get attached to? We think that the world is, why does attachment come? Where does attachment come from? Originate. The origin of attachment is an otherness. Because I think that this object, person, situation is different from me, I get attached to it. If I were to realize that I'm the one that is supporting all the object, experience, situation, person, I would not get attached. There is really nothing like attachment. Okay, so beyond activity, boundless, unattached, and infinite am I. And I'm the essence of knowledge. So that is knowledge with a capital K, not knowledge of a subject, which indicates an ignorance of the other subject, but it is the knowledge which, because of which we know that I know chemistry and I don't know physics. So both ignorance and knowledge is illumined by this supreme knowledge, which like Gurudev would call it with a capital K. All other knowledges are with a small k, and they are opposite of something else. I have knowledge of physics, so I'm ignorant of chemistry. But that which is illumining both knowledge and ignorance, knowledge of physics and ignorance of chemistry, is being illumined by this supreme knowledge. And that is what I am. Okay. Na aham idam, na aham adaha, api ubhayoho avabhasakam param shuddham, bahya abhyantara shunyam purnam brahma advitiyam eva aham. I am neither this nor that, but the supreme illuminator of both. I am pure. I have neither an exterior nor an interior. I am infinite. Verily, I am the non-dual Brahman. So here the discrimination is between Drik Drish Vivek. The seer seen Viveka is perfected here. That is another discrimination. If we perfect, we will reach this stage. We'll reach the supreme reality. So what happens is na aham idam, na aham adaha. So in this world, we have this and that, all of it. So if you do this, actually do the Viveka between seer and seen. So we can do it right now. That computer, this I. Okay. This is always closer to me than that. That calendar and this eyes, these eyes. So this eye, that calendar is far away from me. That computer is far. Anything which is that is far. Anything which is this is close. Okay. All right. First discrimination is that computer, this eye. The second discrimination that we have to now go further back, that I, this mind. Who is seeing the I? It is the mind. How do I know that I can't read very well without glasses? Who's telling me that? Can somebody else tell me? Or don't I know myself that there's something wrong with my eye? So the I then becomes that, and the mind becomes this. Okay, now that mind and this intellect, because the intellect is even subtler than the mind. Intellect is subtler than the mind. So that mind also is now becoming that. And intellect is becoming this. Now the intellect is also becoming that intellect and this me, this I, supreme I, the witness I. This supreme I can never become that. That is the perfected Viveka. Everything in this world, at one stage, it will start as this, but it will become that. Sorry, it'll start as that. Did I say it right? Yeah, no, it starts as this, it'll become that. Like the I started as this. In comparison to this computer screen, the I was this. So the I was closer to me than that screen. Then this I became that I with respect to the mind. This mind, that I. Then the mind became that. From this, it became that when the intellect came into picture. And then the intellect also became that when the supreme Sakshi, the witness, came into picture, the intellect became that. But that Sakshi never becomes that. It is not that Sakshi and then there was another Sakshi there. No, no. So what I am is this, which never becomes the that. It's a play on words. Every this, quote unquote, becomes that with respect to other things. Now, what he's saying here is, am I beyond? Okay, then what happens is, beyond Sakshi, we say this Sakshi is with respect to the body, mind, intellect. The I, mind, intellect is there. So Sakshi is there. But you transcend that when you negate the body, mind, intellect, then actually this Sakshi also, this also doesn't remain. This is what he means. I am neither this nor am I that. Because the minute I say this Sakshi, there is some that to be witnessed. It's a very subtle point. Think about it, understand it. Drigdrish Vivek book is there, written by Swami Vidya, commentary by Swami Tejomayananji, right? So this, that he's saying, this, I am not even this Sakshi, because if I say this Sakshi, there is a that body to be witnessed. But there is no body, there is no mind, there is no intellect. So there cannot be a Sakshi either. Sakshi witness is there only when there is something to be witnessed. If there is nothing to be witnessed, how can that be a Sakshi? Therefore, he says, I am beyond this and that, because when you say this Sakshi, there is some that is there. But in the supreme realization of that one truth, there is no that. Therefore, he says, then if there is no that, there is no this also. Therefore, he says here, I am neither this nor am I that. I think at one stage I am this, but I am not. I'm actually not. And the supreme illuminator of both. I'm the one who is illumining the Sakshi, who is witnessing the body, mind, intellect. That is what I am. So beyond Sakshi, I'm pure. Why pure? Because there is nothing to taint me. There's nothing else. Impurity comes because there's something else. There is nothing to taint me. I have neither an exterior nor an interior. Exterior, interior comes when there is a concept of form. Because I have a form, now inside there is something and then outside me there is something. But formless, how can there be any interior or exterior? Okay, so that's why he says there is no interior, exterior for me. Space, if you take the example of space, is there any exterior, interior? It comes only when we put these walls, which are illusory. Because why illusory? They can be broken. So we have considered ourselves to be this upadhi of body. We consider ourselves, then definitely there'll be inside and there'll be outside. I put these walls around me, then of course there is inside this room and outside the room because of the walls. But otherwise there isn't. Purnam, complete, infinite. Only in infinity there'll be completeness. Anything which is finite is not complete because there's something else. So it's Purnam. Brahma Advitiya Eva Aham. I alone, Eva alone. I alone am that Brahman, which is Advitiya. There is no comparison, because who will be compared to? For comparison, we need two things. Two objects are there, we can compare. But if I am alone by myself, then what is there to compare? Who is there to compare with? Okay. Now, Nirupamam Anadi Tattvam Tvam Aham Idam Ada Iti Kalpana Duram Nitya Ananda Ekarasam Satyam Brahma Advitiyam Eva Aham. I am unparalleled, the originless reality, beyond such imaginations of you and I. Imagination, kalpana. This is you, this is me, this is it's an imagination, because there is nothing this and that. I'm beyond this and that already, he said. So imagination says you and I, this and that. The essence of bliss eternal, the truth, non-dual Brahman am I. Unparalleled. To have somebody, it's unparalleled, no comparison. Who do we compare it to? There's nothing. Originless reality. So originless means birthless. And we have seen the logic behind birthless. What is the logic? Anybody remembers? Birth or creation, to prove birth, somebody, a conscious being has to be there before that event happened of birth. Right? I say my child was born on this day because on the previous day I was alive and I knew that that child was not there. And now today that child is there. So I was there before. And therefore, I can validate the birth of that child because I was there before. A conscious entity was there before the birth. Now, if we were to say that Brahman has birth, and what is Brahman? Satchitananda, consciousness, existence. So if we say, who was there to validate that before there was no Brahman? If consciousness came into being, if consciousness was born, say today, who was there yesterday to say that there was no consciousness? There's no consciousness. That's the logic. Remember this. This is the logic. What is known as prag abhava and pradvamsa abhava. Prag abhava is absence. Prag is before. So before this, this pen you see, before you were there to not see. You did not see the pen. Like right now, you don't see the pen. You're there. A conscious being is there saying there is no pen. And now the same conscious being is saying there is a pen. So you were there before. Suppose if before this pen came, nobody was there. No conscious being was there. Who will validate this pen then? You get this point? And pradvamsa bhava is, after death, there has to be somebody to say, yes, this person died. But some living person has to be there to say that this person died yesterday or today. If Brahman died, if Brahman is going to die someday, who will validate the death? Consciousness is gone, existence is gone. That's why consciousness and existence never go away. Even in pralaya, after pralaya, when everything merges into the supreme reality, the supreme reality is, it remains. Okay, that's why he's saying, and you and I are because of form. Because of form, there is you and I. But once you become formless, then there is no you and there is no I. Like an ice cube has a shape. Ice cube has a shape, right? So when you take a ice cube or a hailstorm, then there'll be inside, outside. There'll be this ice cube and that ice cube. There'll be this and that, because this one is here and then there could be another one here. So there'll be this and there'll be that. There'll be inside and outside. But once that ice cube becomes water and formless, then where is the inside, outside in water? In water, there is no inside, outside. You and I, when we say, it presupposes form, and form is false. There is, because in the pure self, there is no form. In space, is there form in space? Even water does not have a form. That's why water will take any form that you put it in. You put it in a round pot, it will become round. You put it in a rectangular pot, it will become rectangular, because it's formless. So that's why it can take on any form. Only formless can take on any form. That's why we all see, no matter which country you go and see a movie in, have you ever seen a screen which is colored? Whether you see IMAX, whether you see, you go to that planetarium, the screen is always white. Only because it is colorless can it support all the colors. If it was any color in that background, then it's not supporting that color. That's why Brahman has to be formless. To support all these forms, there has to be a formless reality, formless substrata. This and that, again, he said, I'm beyond this and that. The essence of bliss, eternal. Bliss, once again, not an experience. It is, I mean, once you experience it, you'll know. Until then, it's only words. The truth, non-dual Brahman am I. Narayanoham narakantakoham purantakoham purushohamishah akhanda bodhoham shesha sakshi nirishwaroham niraham cham nirmama. I am Narayana. I am the slayer of Naraka. I am the destroyer of Tripura. I am the supreme being, the Lord. I am unbroken knowledge. I am the witness of everything. I have no other Lord, and I am devoid of I and mine. So this Narayana, this second paragraph is very important in your book, in this book, Gurudev's commentary. Nara is Brahman, Ayana is glory. Narayana is one whose glory is the whole universe. That's why he's saying, I'm Narayana. Not I'm the form of Narayan, not I'm the form of Vishnu Bhagwan, not like that. That is not the meaning. Naraka is hell. Narakantaka is one who has ended his hell, one in whom there is no trace of sorrow. And what is Naraka? Not a physical place. Living at the body level is to be in Naraka. So when he says Narantaka, means I have crossed over the body. I've transcended the body level. I do not consider myself to be the body. As long as we consider ourselves to be the body, it is Naraka only. It is hell only. You know, it is inside. I told you, it's very, very dirty. Body, there's nothing beauty in body. Only skin is beautiful and faces. That's it. Inside, full dirt, complete. Right from, underneath the skin, it's full dirt. That's why it's Naraka. But we only look at the outside now, then we know how beautiful I am, etc., etc. The criminal, the devil who creates hell for one is PFT, perceiver, feeler, thinker. Who is that? Chidabhasa, Jiva. Okay, ego, synonyms. These are all synonyms. One's own, not somebody else's. Narkasura, the ugly devil with horns and tail, is the inflated ego. When he's destroyed, the Atman is attained. Okay, and this Tripura, Puri is city, the city of three gates. So there, where people live, and that also he has destroyed, because in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan will say city of 9 gates, but these three cities is waking, dream, and deep sleep here. So these are the 3 cities in which we live. The jiva lives, right? Either the jiva is waking, or then he goes to sleep, or then he dreams. So he's either the waker, the dreamer, or the deep sleeper. And these are the 3 puris. These are the 3 cities, not eating puri. Puri in Sanskrit is city. So these are the 3 cities in which we are living constantly. So he is the slayer of these 3 cities, means he has transcended the cities, the 3 states. That's what it means. So that's why when he says, I'm the destroyer of Tripura, 3 cities, 3 states, waking, dream, deep sleep, I have destroyed them, not physically, but I have transcended them. And what is meant by transcended is, I know that they are false. That is all. Transcending means giving it less reality than we are giving right now. We give a lot of importance to things which are the not self. And as we progress in our sadhana, then those things should, less importance has to be given to them. Automatically it happens. The reason that we give less importance is because we come to know that they are fleeting, changing. So then the importance reduces. I'm unbroken knowledge. I'm the witness of everything, Sakshi. Whatever is happening, if it is, then I'm the witness. I'm not the doer. So I am the witness of my own thoughts, and I witness my whatever that I do. So seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, I'm the witness. Right now in our state of ignorance, I think, I see, I hear, that is my experience, that I am seeing, I am talking, I am smelling, I am touching. That is my experience. But the realized master says, no, the jiva is doing this, or the chidabhasa is doing this. I am something different from this. Or it is happening because of the interaction of the gunas, and I am Purusha, I am separate from the gunas. Either way, whichever works for you. See, because we have to take these verses as goal, right? They have to trigger some sort of sadhana in us. When we do that sadhana, then someday we hope to reach that stage. Okay, and again, reaching the stage is again not correct. I have told you that, because there is nowhere to go or nowhere to reach. We are already there, but we don't know that. So that's why we say it like that. Sarveshu bhuteshvahamaeva samstitah jnanatmanantarvahirashchaya san bhokta cha bhogyam swayameva sarvam yadyat prathagdrishtamidantaya pura. I alone reside as knowledge in all beings and am their external and internal support. I myself am the experiencer and the experienced. I am all that was experienced by me separately as this and not this before. So the knowledge in all beings means the one that is making everybody aware. Like, see, this, suppose if I say I know something, whatever, and somebody else says, I know, if I say I know physics and somebody else says I know chemistry. Now, physics and chemistry are 2 different things, but the knowledge is the same. Like, it'll be clear. See, we get angry and animals also get angry. Dogs get angry. So the anger in the human being and the anger in the dog, the anger is the same. But the dog will get angry maybe on something different. Human being might get angry because of something else. And the reaction of the human being will be totally different than the reaction of the dog. So the dog might bark, he might go bite, he might do those kinds of things, but the human being has a choice. So he might choose not to react at all. Or that's why they say don't bark like a dog. If you start shouting, then that's what, or he might react that way. But that anger felt like deep sleep also, the deep sleep of a king and the deep sleep of a beggar, deep sleep is same. This is what he means here, that I alone reside as knowledge. It is, in chapter 7, Bhagwan has said, I am the strength in the strong. I am the intellect in the intelligence. That oneness is there. That is what he means here. So not that I know, but the knowledge that is accruing, that's coming into everybody's mind, that knowledge is the same. Just like anger is the same, sorrow is the same. The sorrow is for different things. That is not what we are talking about. But sorrow is sorrow, same. Joy is joy. I might feel happy by seeing a movie, and somebody else might feel happy just listening to music. That happiness is the same. The reason for that happiness is different. That can be different. That will depend on the upadhi. But the happiness, because it is coming from the supreme reality, the knowledge, because it is coming from the supreme reality, that will always remain same. There'll be no division in that. There'll be no bifurcation in that, in all beings, and am their external and internal support. So externally, Ishvara is supporting this world as existence. How is the external and internal support? Externally, the world is being supported as existence, and therefore it is always experienced as is. The book is, the pen is, the computer is, the mouse is, the scanner is. That isness is outside. So Ishvara is supporting the world externally as existence and internally as consciousness. This is how it works. So there is this existence outside of various things, and I'm conscious of all those things' existence. So inside it is consciousness, outside it is existence. And therefore he's saying, I am the one that is supporting. If I come to know this, if I come to realize this, and in my state of ignorance, I think that is something different. Outside is something different. But if I come to finally realize that I alone am supporting the world outside, and I alone am supporting the consciousness inside, then there will be no cause for anything, attachment. How do I get attached to my own? Do I get attached to my own head? I can't. It's me. It's me. It's not mine. What is mine, I can get attached. But when we say mine, it is something different. I can say this book is mine. Then I can get attached to the book. But if it is me only, how do I get attached to me, myself? I can't. Okay. So mine, when I say, there is a difference. Like this book is mine, this pen is mine, then I can definitely get attached to the pen or the book. I myself am the experiencer and the experiencer. So experienced is outside, experiencer is inside, and both I am only there because I am only supporting the experienced as existence. As the existence principle, I support the experienced. And as the consciousness principle, I support the experiencer. So there is only one I, the big I. I am all that was experienced by me separately as this and not this before. In the state of ignorance, it's always me and you. This is me, this is you. This is me and this is book, this is pen, this is world. So in the state of ignorance, that is our case. That's our case right now. And that's why attachment comes, greed comes, desire comes, because it's something other than me. Then I like it, then I want it. I don't like it, then I want to run away from it. This all is happening because in a state of ignorance. Once I have realized that it is me and me alone that is outside experienced and inside experiencer, then there is no question of attachment. And there is no question of hatred. I don't hate myself. I can never hate myself. I can hate other things, but not this. So previously, I thought it was experience. In Tulsi Ramayan, there is a Ram Gita, and there Sri Ram and Lakshman are the guru and disciple, and Lakshman asks 5 questions, and one of the questions is, what is Maya? There's one of the questions there. In that he says, me and mine and you and yours. That is what Maya is. That's the answer, simple answer that Sri Ram has given. So when I say this is mine and this is yours, that itself is mine. Because why? This I and you itself is an illusion. There is no I, there is no you. That is an illusion. That's why that is Maya. So when I say that this thing belongs to me and this thing doesn't belong to me, it is yours and this is mine, and then I fight over it, it's Maya, illusory. So when I transcend both this and that, that's why he said, I'm neither this nor am I that. Then there's no question of getting deluded again and getting attached. Maya khanda sukham bodhau bahuda vishvavichayah utpadyante viliyante maya maruta vibhramat. In me, the ocean of unbroken bliss, endless waves of the universe are created and destroyed by the play of the storm of Maya. So because he has used the word waves and storm of ocean of unbroken bliss. So take the example of the ordinary ocean. So you see the ocean and then you see the waves. Now, the waves are playing on top of the ocean, but the waves cannot be created unless there is a wind. Okay, so the substratum of the waves is the water, is the ocean, but the support is the wind. So the wave, the creation of the wave happens only because of the substratum plus the support. If there was absolutely a windless situation on top of the ocean, there wouldn't, the waves would not have been created. The meaning is creation is happening because of two things. One is the substratum, which is Brahman, and the second is the support, which is Prakriti. So in chapter 13, that's why we say without Purusha and Prakriti, even in 15, he says the same thing. Creation cannot happen. Creation cannot happen. Okay. Now what happens is this person has realized, he has realized himself to be the substratum. So he realizes himself to be that ocean of bliss. And on this, there is a dance that is going on. Like if you go on a moonlit night to the ocean, you know, you see these waves constantly lashing, right? You stand there on the beach and then the waves are lashing against your feet, one after the other, one after the other. So that is what creation is. That is what he's comparing. So I am the substratum and this whole world is dancing on top of me. I'm the substratum of all this. I'm the support of all this as well. In case of the ocean and the wave, the wind is different from the substratum. Remember that the wind is different, ocean is different. In case of creation, the substratum is also the same as the support, because Prakriti is part of this. So there are no two things. In a wave, there are two things. There is ocean and there is wind, two things, and the wave is created. Or you can even take the example of the potter. You know, there is the wheel, the instrumental cause, the material cause, and the efficient cause. There is three different things. The potter is different from the clay, and the clay is different from the wheel. There are three things. And so people say, okay, then in creation, what is the material cause? We have to understand that the material cause also is the efficient cause. That's why abhinna nimitta karana. Abhinna, the cause of this world is not different. It's not, there was this Brahman and then on this side was Prakriti and then Brahman made world out of this Prakriti. It is not like that. That's why now he has understood by the play of the storm of Maya. So the wind is compared to Maya because of the wind. But if there was only the wind and no substratum, would the waves have been created? There would be no waves because substratum is also not there. How wind cannot create waves. And if the substratum alone was there, it will remain. So what if the waves are not there? Do you think the ocean will dry up? Is the ocean sad if there are no waves? So that is what is meant when Bhagavan says, they are in me, I am not in them. I am not dependent on them. Like electricity, I am not dependent on the appliance. Appliance is dependent on me. This is all same meaning, different words. Okay. So he has recognized himself to be the unbroken bliss, which is not an experience. I again repeat. Sthuladibhava mai kalpita bhramat adaro आदारोपितानुस्फुरेण लोकैः काले यथा कल्पकवत् सरायण नत्वार्दयो निष्कलनिर्विकल्पे. Concepts of gross, etc. are wrongly imagined in me by people because of the manifestation of the superimpositions. Just as in the indivisible and absolute time, cycles, years, half years, seasons, etc. are imagined. Now in another month, we'll be changing the clock, right? Spring forward. Then we did fall backward, and now we'll do spring, which itself tells us that the concept of time is false. If time was really real, do you think you could have changed it? And then some people are changing, some people are not changing. So, entire world is not doing that. Only some countries are doing it, right? So it has to be false. The concept of time comes when you are in time, whereas Brahman is beyond time. The supreme reality is beyond time. That's why, like Gurudev has said, the unit of time is a second. Second. First, what is first? First was Brahman. Then second time came. Time came after Brahman. So Brahman is beyond space and time. And therefore there is no, therefore gross and subtle are wrongly imagined by me. Means they think that I am this gross body. But I am not. Our thinking is that I am a soul inside the body, right? Correct? I'm Jiva or soul, Atma inside the body. And then this world is outside me. So I'm inside the body. So body is on top of me. And then on top of the body is this whole world. And then we get bogged down by it. Now change your thinking. The body is in me. I am that supreme consciousness which is supporting the body. And not only am I supporting the body, I'm also supporting this entire world. Now, who is more powerful? The supporter is powerful or supported is powerful? Right now, I think that the world is supporting me. The body is supporting me. I'm staying inside the body. Body is not supporting me. I am supporting the body. See, Western philosophy is, I think, that is why I am. Our philosophy is, I am comes first. Therefore, I can think. Therefore, I think. Huge difference. Think about this. If you come to know that you are the support, you are the stronger one. So why would you get bogged down by anything that is happening in this world? That's a very high stage. We are not at that stage, but I'm just telling you that's why he says all these other people, they imagine the gross body. I'm in the gross body and I am this and I am that, subtle body, mind, etc., etc. Just as in the indivisible and absolute time, cycles are imagined. The time is imagined. See, in space, example, directions are imagined. If you just take space, is there north, south? How did this north? They saw the upadhi of the sun and the earth. They took the upadhi of the sun, which is a superimposition, right? The earth, you know, what is east? We say Japan is the eastmost, right? But there's definitely something more east than Japan also. So really there is nothing like north, east, west, south. It is the upadhi of the sun that is superimposed. So when we see the sun rising, we say this is east. It is not that it is east and the sun rose in the east. The sun rose and then we called it the east. And then the opposite became west. And then to the right of east became north and to the left became the south. That is what news is. N-E-W-S, north, east, west, south. Information from all four directions is called news. And that is imaginary. In in complete darkness, can you see directions? Would you know where you are? If you're in a desert, if you don't have the compass, you'll get lost. There are no, same way with time. Time, where does time go in deep sleep? Do we experience time? See, if time was really real, you have to experience it in all three states, waking, dream, and deep sleep states. Because time, what is real is what is experienced in all three states. That's why we say only supreme reality is real, because in all three states, this consciousness is there, pure consciousness is there. But there is no time in deep sleep. That's why sometimes we feel we slept only for 5 minutes and it's 5 hours. Sometimes we think, oh, 5 hours. No, only 5 minutes have passed. Especially in the middle of the night, personal experience, you think, oh, how much time went? And I look and only 2 minutes have gone by. And I'm like, oh my God, only 5 minutes. What is this? It feels endless when you wake up in the middle of the night, and you look at your clock and only hardly few minutes have gone by. And then sometimes you hit the snooze button and you think, oh, 5 minutes, I will sleep. Next thing you know, it's 2 hours gone by.
Jayaji,
Yes.
Einstein has said that too, that time is relative thing.
Yes.
When you are waiting for something,
Correct.
Just like you said, 5 minutes seems like hours. And
Correct.
then and we also feel like everyday life, when you are happy or
Correct.
something good is happening,
Correct.
days pass very fast.
Yes.
When you are waiting for something or you are sick, the night doesn't pass. It
Yes.
doesn't seem it is passing.
Yes.
So,
yes. Correct. When we are happy, time passes very quickly. When we are sad or waiting for somebody is there in the OR operating room, then we think as if time is not passing at all. That is a telltale sign of time that it is not real. Okay, we'll stop here today. We'll start. Any questions? Anybody has any questions? We will start with 499 now. So we have got only less than 100 now. Finally, my God, what a big text. Anybody wants to ask anything? If there's anything unclear, do ask me. This is just the musings of a realized master, which we have heard in Bhagavad Gita also. Quite a bit we'll hear in chapter 5 as well. Same thing. Okay. All right then. I'll see you on some of you on Sunday, and then Monday we'll continue with 18.
I remember when I was born, there was a time change in India. So my mother doesn't even know what time I was born.
Oh, neither does my mom. My birth certificate is also incorrect. Then the bank told me, you know what, all your life you have said 16th, now you say 16th, the birth certificate is showing 17. Don't say, because if you say wrong, then that is your, so now my birth date is also wrong. So I don't know if my horoscope is also correct. I don't know whether my birth was 10 past 12 or 10 before 12. Nobody. So that's and then even before us, I don't think there was any birth certificate also, at least. Anyway.
Like my mom doesn't have a birth certificate.
Yeah, they don't. And yeah, marriage certificate also was not there, because Mrs. Kapai, I know Mr. Kapai, I said, you have to provide marriage certificate for CPP for her to get his CPP. The daughter said, what marriage certificate? There's no marriage certificate.
Because I went to Kalyan Hospital in Pune to get my see there is some record.
Shaha go brahmane shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasya shalini desho yam kshobarahita brahmana santu nirbhayaha om sarvesham swasti bhavatu sarvesham shantir bhavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu sarve bhavantu sukhinah sarve santu niramayaha sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kashchid dukha bhag bhavet om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति शांति शांतिः Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.